Welcome to Cretoni Entertainment. I'm Chris.
And I'm Brie.
And we're doing Janko Fett.
Oh, that's mean.
Well, I mean, it's also not true. Janko Fett would be the Mandalorian if we were doing him as janky, beat-up, Episode 1 pre-awesome Beskar armor. But we're not doing that. We're doing him as shiny Beskar armor, starting with Rhinox hide, because the Mandalorian actually wears a ton of browns. It took a little sorting to truly be 100% confident of that, honestly, because some of the lighting in some of the moving images of him do appear to be more blackish, but it's actually dark brown on the Mandalorian pretty much across the way. So we're doing the Mandalorian, who one day we'll find out his real name, and no, it's not that dumb, stupid name that everybody says it is. They're wrong. But
you're not gonna.
I don't care for that name. Anyway, we're moving on to the Nolan oil, and we're going to go ahead and wash the whole Mandalorian because we want this dark brown to be
even darker.
Really, really dark. And I'm excited about this release. We're doing a Star Wars Legion video. I have another Star Wars Legion video we still haven't edited yet that I'll probably never release, that I was just going to let go. But I could not resist making this one because I didn't even realize this model dropped. I knew it was coming. I did not pay any attention to its release date, and I was in our local game store about a week ago. Was it about a week ago? Maybe a week and a half?
More than that.
It wasn't that long. I painted this thing right away, dude. I painted this thing like immediately. But anyway, after the Nolan oil is dry here, we're going to go back with the Rhinox hide and just kind of highlight over it just to get a little depth in the color.
Yeah.
But yeah, I painted this thing. Like, I think I brought this thing home. I think it sat in the box for like 3 days, and then I painted it like immediately. I may have been sitting on this video file for a little longer. That might be what it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, I painted this thing like right away. Now, we did not paint the Baby Yodas in there because there are two. There's two Baby Yoda in this box. Yodai? Baby Yoda?
Grogu.
No, that's not a thing. That's not going to be a thing. It's Baby Yoda. That's not going to be. It's Mando and Baby Yoda. Everything else is wrong. As we pull out an assortment of browns here, we've got a Doombull brown, kind of a reddish brown. Then you have the Scorthor brown, Mornfang brown, just a bunch of different browns. A bunch of different browns.
No, Scrag brown.
Well, Scrag brown. We're pulling all the browns out to just kind of vary up his browns a little bit. So, the Gorthor is going to be for. I don't remember what I used the Gorthor for. I guess we're about to find out in a minute. But
ooh, it's a mystery to everyone.
So the Scrag is on his rifle,
right?
But basically, just getting some extra browns in there that we're gonna ultimately wash over as well. But again, did not realize this model release. Very excited to see it. And what we're gonna do with the Baby Yoda is Brie is gonna paint one.
Yeah.
I am gonna paint one, and we'll probably put them in the same video.
Well, it's a side by side. Look at us go. Do.
So I saved you the Baby Yoda eating the frog. I assumed you wanted that one.
Yeah.
I'll do the regular Baby Yoda because I painted an actual Yoda for Legion already too. Very excited about this model releasing. I need to play more Star Wars Legion. They've kind of been sitting in the box for a while. I got to bust these things out and get a few games in. But excited to see this model release because honestly,
he's awesome.
Who doesn't love Mando? And if you don't love Mando, I don't want to talk to you, really. I mean, what it is I've heard complaints about Mando. I've heard complaints about the show. I've heard complaints about the character. I've heard that there's not a lot of depth to it. Because it's Star Wars. There's literally never been a lot of depth to it.
No.
Star Wars has never been deep. Actually, I heard a great expression about Star Wars recently, and it's that Star Wars, the only reason it still exists and is still getting new stuff is because the movies were that bad in the late 70s. Had the original movies been made in the 90s or the early 2000s, Star Wars would have been flash in the pan and gone, is the theory. And maybe that's true. And it doesn't really matter, but Star Wars has never been that deep. Star Wars is a combination of a samurai movie and a pirate swashbuckling movie. And that's kind of how Star Wars started. And The Mandalorian actually adds in a bit of cowboy theme to the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't need to be deep. He really doesn't need character growth. He's just cool.
Mando.
Now, what's funny is, like, the one Star Wars property that I really felt there truly was character progression and growth is the one that's getting the biggest amount of flack from people, and that would be Kenobi.
Yeah.
I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is a phenomenal miniseries. I love that we see him going from a broken man, completely detached from where he was, to every episode getting a little bit of himself back. I really thought it was a great show, and we're never going to agree if you believe otherwise.
That's true.
But the reality is, The Mandalorian, especially in season 1, zoomed Star Wars into an individual level of like, hey, he's not just some guy. He's still, highly trained, highly skilled. Actually a little bit too much. A little bit of a Gary Stu, if you will. So,
Gary Stu.
yeah, it's the male Mary Sue.
Okay.
He is a little bit of a Gary Stu in some ways. You know, he's not a
But he
Gary
also
Stu.
gets his butt handed to him.
He does, but he's also invincible.
Well,
Like, the only time he truly gets his butt handed to him in an actual butt handed to him way is the end episode of the first season. And then they're just like, let me spray you some back to spray, you're going to be fine anyway. It's the invincible armor thing that really is like, man, I'll tell you what, Stormtroopers can't hit jack crap in Star Wars until they're shooting at a Mandalorian, but then they only hit the armored portions of his body. Mandalorian armor does not actually cover that much of him.
Oh, it does. It does. You don't know it.
But
it's all over.
I'm pretty sure that the true power of Beskar is not its indestructibility, but it attracts blaster bolts. So it doesn't hit the rest of you.
It actually has an energy magnetism. Okay, I'm into it.
So anyway, we've got this dark silver. In my case, I'm using gunmetal. You can use whatever one you want. It doesn't really matter to me. It's your miniature.
You do what you want to do. You make your best car how you want to make your best car.
Yeah, you make your best car.
I don't like you right now. I don't like you right now. That was not. Nope. Nope. Don't like it. Moving on. Don't keep looking at me thinking that this is going to get better. It's not going to get better.
Okay.
Talk about Mando.
So I love The Mandalorian, but I got no beef with Pedro Pascal, but it's about to sound like I do. You ready? Has anybody ever really done less to skyrocket themselves into super popularity? I love The Mandalorian. I love Pedro Pascal, but we all need to remember that Mando himself, especially in the early couple episodes, had very few lines, and it wasn't Pedro in the suit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I absolutely respect the heck out of the guy that he's like, I'm super beloved now, and my name pops up everywhere because of this that I didn't actually have to do. Now, I have heard he wants to spend more time in the suit. I have heard there was a plan for him to spend more time with his helmet off in season 3, but we're not really going to get it because he had other film contracts that kind of coincided with the filming of The Mandalorian itself. But I've heard that he wants more
Mando time.
Yeah, direct involvement other than being the voiceover for him. But man, this guy's skyrocketed in popularity just for doing a couple lines of voice. Absolute mad respect.
Props.
Not an insult in any way to Pedro Pascal. Not an insult to The Mandalorian. A bit of an insult to Pedro Pascal for playing whatever the crap that was that he was playing as Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 84. I don't know what the crap that was. That was bad.
It was such a hot mess, and I hated that because it had a lot of the characters that I really enjoyed from Wonder Woman. Like, I love Cheetah. I always have. She's a very interesting foil to Diana, because the very...
We're talking Mando right now. You say something fun about Mando. Now I've made fun of Pedro Pascal. Is it Pascal or Pascal? I feel like if I say Pascal, it sounds classier.
I think I've heard both, so I'm not sure. I would have to hear him say his name to know how it should be said.
But
That's always how I feel about that.
I assume that with most actors, it's a fake name. I'll bet his name is like Hoyt Stevenson.
No. What? You and Hoyt. It's always Hoyt. It's always Hoyt. But no, you know how I feel about Mando. He's just.
What's your favorite Mando moment?
I don't have a favorite Mando moment but I have a favorite episode.
Okay.
And it's the one where they're transporting the lizard lady.
Okay.
With the eggs.
And Grogu keeps eating them?
And Grogu keeps eating them, and he's like, stop that.
Don't eat any more of the eggs.
And he's just trying really hard to, like, get his kid in line, but his kid keeps, committing genocide.
Yeah, he does it. You know what? I'm gonna say something else controversial here. I don't have a beef with the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, I don't either. I like Boba Fett.
I understand some of the criticisms of it. I do. I don't understand the people who are like, Boba Fett's overly soft. And dude, the guy has had several years to go over some decisions that were made. We really don't have anything official. Now we're using the Army Painter Dark Tone instead of the Citadel Known Lore, just because we can.
Well, we're trying to...
realistically, the Book of Boba Fett reminded me of what a more mature, more experienced person, especially after the experience he had with the Tusken Raiders, would change a man like. And he's still effectively a criminal, but he's like, I'm not doing this BS for anybody else anymore. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people gave it grief because the pacing is terrible and it had a lot of Walking Dead season 2 qualities to me.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead season 2 is absolutely fantastic if you binge it.
Yes.
It does. I will give you that it struggled a bit airing week to week.
Yes.
But if you binge it, it's a coherent, pretty tight
sense.
story.
It's all and it's
Book of Boba Fett's the same thing. Honestly, if you kind of binge it, it's
great.
It's pretty tight. And a lot of people criticize that the last couple episodes are basically the Mandalorian season 2.5. I didn't necessarily have a beef with that either because I kind of feel like part of Boba Fett's progression as a character was due to the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think Mando got him his armor back.
Well, it didn't get him his armor back. There was kind of a thing there, but I think part of seeing what the Mandalorian was doing may have had an impact on Boba Fett across the way. Also, kind of experiencing, saving Fennec and all that other stuff.
Well, and let's not also do the whole he was left for dead by his employers. So he really had that moment of
left for dead by his employers. His employers blew up. Did you not watch Return of the Jedi?
I mean, yeah, they blew up real good. Like they blew up like real.
His
good.
employers were in fact still there and there and there and there.
He's over there and he's over there and there's some over there.
By the way, talk about a scene that absolutely makes no sense. The entire Jabba's palace sequence. So we got some black. This is going to go in.
Let's just face it that whole section is kind of a fever dream.
So the blacks to go inside the Vine. It makes most of Return of the Jedi falls flat in a lot of ways, but the entire opening part of the movie with Jabba's palace is so far removed to everything that's happening in the rest of the 3 original Star Wars movies. It's like, what in the nuggets is going on here? So the black's also going on this cape, and Luke's plan does not make one lick of sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk in.
I feel like there were. I feel like there were like
Jedi energy around.
Yeah, I feel like there were 4 different plans going on in Return of the Jedi. Nobody could agree, so they're all like, "Screw it, I'm gonna go do my own plan."
and they just like, "I'm gonna go do mine," and then Luke's like, "No, I'm gonna go do mine."
Yeah, and they just absolutely lucked into it. And they only lucked into it because Luke was absolutely exercising the dark side of the Force.
Yeah, Luke was hardcore into the let's just use the Force for whatever I want to use it for.
Well, a lot of people, I won't say a lot of people, I have seen people miss the whole concept that, Return of the Jedi is truly, and one of the reasons the film was probably originally called Revenge of the Jedi, as we pull out our black gray to highlight the cape.
Which was that color?
That was a lighter silver.
And then the matte
and then we
black.
got the matte black from Armory Painter, just because we want to see how this particular color goes as well. The original, we all know the Return of the Jedi was originally called Revenge of the Jedi, and honestly, especially in later rewatchings, Luke is teetering on the edge of the dark side the whole movie.
Oh, absolutely.
He's clearly going down that path. He's not the bright and shiny hero that he looks like, and actually, it's almost prophetic when you look back to A New Hope and Luke looks at Obi-Wan and says, "I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father." And then you realize in Return of the Jedi, when you realize that Luke is teetering on the dark side, he uses Force choke. He's using, he's just using more aggression.
Yeah.
He's definitely channeling that darker aspect of him. And when you realize that and put it together with that line from The New Hope, it creates this great double meaning because he becomes a Jedi exactly like his father while he's sitting there and trying to beat down on Vader. And then stops and realizes, holy balls, what have I become here? I got to stop this. And of course, that is the moment. Honestly, that's the moment that he becomes a Jedi, when he throws his lightsaber away.
Yeah.
That's also the first time anybody calls him a Jedi. Obi-Wan has told him he's not quite a Jedi yet. Yoda tells him he's not going to be a Jedi till he confronts Vader. Vader tells him in Empire he's not a Jedi yet. Vader doesn't call him a Jedi at all in Return of the Jedi. It's not until the moment where he throws his lightsaber away and he says, I'll never fall to the dark side, that Palpatine looks at him and goes, "So be it, Jedi." And that's the first time he's ever called Jedi. That's when it becomes one.
If you're going to be called Jedi by somebody, it really should be the person who wiped out all the other Jedi. He's probably...
Palpatine didn't wipe out the other Jedi. Okay? Palpatine triggered a computer program inside people's brains to wipe out the Jedi. He is the laziest galactic conqueror ever when it comes to actually doing stuff and not just playing politicking.
Yeah, but he was so manipulative.
Was it? Or was it Darth Jar Jar?
The Darth Jar Jar.
You've seen the Darth Jar Jar. Anyway, the light silvers, since we're getting off track, is highlighting Mando's armor here. There's plenty of Darth Jar Jar theories, which of course are all in good fun and they're joking, but they are actually kind of entertaining when you realize that everything really is Jar Jar Binks' fault. And it's
Jar Jar is
certainly
absolutely.
it did not help that Padme was having an affair with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You and your Obi-Wan is actually their father.
Obi-Wan is 100% their father, 100%. And you know what? Obi-Wan is Rey's grandfather too.
You are making one of the most.
I stand by that theory. Okay, so no,
people in all of the Jedi universe.
No. Obi-Wan absolutely sowed his wild oats. Ask Satine.
Dang.
Yeah, look. Okay.
Dang.
Was it Rey's father? I think Rey's father was established to be the Palpatine clone, right?
No, I thought it was her mother.
It doesn't matter. One of the two. The other parent who wasn't of the Palpatine clonage was clearly Satine's child. Because, the Star Wars universe is so incredibly small and incestuous. It was clearly Satine's child, which means Obi-Wan is Rey's grandfather. Palpatine is also Rey's grandfather. Palpatine could be argued to be the father of Anakin Skywalker since he orchestrated Anakin's birth.
Yeah.
Therefore, Rey is both a Kenobi and a Skywalker. And you know what? There you go. Thank you.
I can't with you.
You know what? While we're on the subject of Rey, I'm going to put it out there. We're going to lose all our followers over this video. All of our Star Wars followers. Anybody who has ever called Rey a Mary Sue, if you have not very seriously given the same criticisms to Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker, you are an unserious individual who's just
an unserious.
You're an unserious individual who's honestly just being misogynistic because you want to talk about Gary Stews and Mary Sue's. Luke Skywalker, 100%. Anakin Skywalker, 100%. Rey is cut from the same cloth as them. Friggin' deal with it. Go cry in your Cheerios. I don't know what I'm saying at this point.
Are you having a fever dream?
It's getting bad.
Wow.
It's getting bad. Now, am I saying that the sequel characters are super well written?
No.
There's a lot of problems there.
No.
But it's not unsalvageable.
It's not unsalvageable.
So this is the anti-shine matte varnish. We talked about this in the Dane video for Painting Heroes Again. This is going to take that shine from that dark tone right the heck away. And I still have mixed feelings about this whole thing. Army Painter, I respect that you have created a product that fixes your shine. But man, why can't you just fix your wash? I do like that there's little bearings inside their bottles that you shake them.
Because maybe there are people out there who like the shiny.
Now, that may be fair. I'd say the majority probably want the matte over the shine. But, and you look at Games Workshop, they do a shade and a gloss.
Yeah.
And then charge an arm and leg for both. So there's obviously a gloss customer.
There's a glossy person out there.
But I think you limit the uses of your wash if its default is to go to Shineland. So anyway, once this matte varnish dries, it's going to dry clear. Hopefully you're all still with us after that rant about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Rey and all them other people. And then we're going to go ahead and base this guy.
Because, Mando.
So we're going to use our legally distinct white glue. It's Olmer's.
Nope. It's
Elmo's. Nope. Elmo's doesn't work
that's
either.
Not even.
Elmo says glue it.
Elmer's.
Elmo says sniff me.
No. God, what? No.
Elmo's high as a kite.
That was not Elmo that got high as a kite.
Anyway, paint the glue on with a crappy brush. Whatever, do your thing. Dip it in sand. Sand. That's my sand sound effect. When that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and do this Mando kind of like my Rebels and Imperial bases, where I think a lot of people would want to do this more as a desert Mando.
Desert Mando.
Well, he spends a lot of time on Tatooine and whatnot.
Everybody spends a lot of time on Tatooine.
But my bases are basically wildwood, dry brushed with a cream color. In this case, I'm using, I think it's the Vallejo Bone White or whatever it's called. But anyway, I'm just doing a quick contrast over the sand itself. It seeps down in there. It really colors everything. I do a quick dry brush. I dip it in some grass or, static grass from a model train store. And that's going to match my bases for my Rebel and Imperial armors because that's where Mando can be taken in Star Wars Legion. He can be taken in both those factions. Seems kind of wrong to bring it with the Empire. I have two things I'd like to do. I would like to do a Rebel army with Operative Luke Skywalker and Mando. Spend a lot of points on operatives there.
Yeah,
I'd like to do an Empire army with Boba Fett and Mando.
Okay.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let them fight together. And I do have a Boba Fett model. So anyway, we get him some grass. Blah, blah, blah. See, I got this tub of grass that I got from a model train store. I put it in a plastic tub I got from IKEA or whatever for like food storage.
No, sir. That one you got from the Container Store.
Did I get that one from the container? I love the
Yes.
Container Store. Guys, don't go to the Container Store, but go there. It's amazing. And then I'm painting the rim of the base with the Rhinox hide. So really, as I paint this circular base, we've come full circle
I
to the
hate
color we
you.
started with. And there we go. Mando is ready to go.
Mando.
We need to do our Baby Yoda paint off. But otherwise, there we go. Like and subscribe for more content. Hit the bell button for notifications. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye is the way.